So welcome everyone to today's Project Outcome for Academic Libraries 101 webinar. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to the Project Outcome team. First, I am Gina Parsons-Diamond, the Program Manager for Data and Research at ACRL, and I support ACRL's Project Outcome and our other data initiatives. My colleague Brian Lim, the Program Coordinator for Data and Research, is also here, and he'll be monitoring the chat and popping some useful links in for you. So today's webinar focuses on Project Outcome for Academic Libraries, a free toolkit designed to help libraries understand and share the impact of essential library services and programs. It provides simple surveys and an easy-to-use process for measuring and analyzing outcomes. Project Outcome also provides libraries with the resources and training support you need to help you apply your results and advocate for your library's future. If you haven't signed up yet, you can do that now. It's quick, easy, and free, and available to all academic libraries worldwide. So just some outcomes for today. Today's webinar will focus mainly on outcome measurement and why it matters for your library. We'll walk you through using the Project Outcome Toolkit, and we'll share a few case studies at the end as examples of how other libraries are using Project Outcome for improvements in advocacy. But let's get started with a couple quick definitions. Capturing the impact and value of your library's work is important to be able to tell stakeholders why it matters. For that story to be powerful, it's helpful for libraries to have strong data and evidence. However, assessment or evaluation can be easier said than done. It presents a number of challenges, particularly because each library and community has its own needs, and usually there's limited time and resources to devote to data collection and analysis. Project Outcome is designed to lower barriers to this work, and we will be sharing a few tips for strategic measurement later in this session today. There are many ways that you can capture impact, and you already may be doing some of these. Outcomes are just one piece of that puzzle. Different types of impact measurement can help you answer the different questions you and your library may be asking. Needs assessment can help answer the question, what does our community need? Patron satisfaction surveys can help answer the question, what should we do better? Outputs can help answer the question, how much did we do? And outcomes can help answer the question, what good did we do? And adding outcome measurement to your impact story will help drive decision making and strategic planning. And this is where Project Outcome comes in. So the definition of outcomes we use for the purposes of Project Outcome is outcomes are a specific benefit from library programs or services that can be quantitative or qualitative and are expressed as changes individuals perceive in themselves. Or outcomes help answer the question, what good do we do? Outcomes can describe how learners are changed as a result of our efforts. Outcomes are not focused on recording library offerings or library usage, like collection counts, gate counts, resource counts, number of library instruction sessions offered, etc., but rather on documenting how the library impacts the learning and work of its users. They should be meaningful, achievable, observable, and actionable. With any data you collect, it's important to think about why you're collecting it and what it can help you achieve. Evidence from libraries shows that Project Outcome helps them make programming decisions, engage in advocacy, secure funding, report on the use of grant funds, and apply for more grants, do strategic planning, and build meaningful partnerships. So Project Outcome is designed to help you overcome common assessment barriers and engage more effectively in outcome measurement. It gives you a consistent and convenient way to measure outcomes and data that you can use to advocate for your library. Um, so the project outcome model offers these distinct advantages. The toolkit is built around a set of quick and simple surveys. You can use them straight out of the box or choose to add up to 3 custom questions. We also provide an easy-to-use survey management portal to collect and enter survey data. And once you've collected some responses, you can access ready-made reports that the system generates for you, as well as customizable data reports that you can create yourself. You can also explore your results in a suite of interactive data dashboards with benchmarking, which allows you to see how you're doing compared to your peers. All the resources and training materials we have created are to help libraries engage in the outcome measurement process, and we can keep adding more resources. You can just tell us what you need. We also provide a peer discussion forum in ALA Connect, where you can ask questions and share examples of what works or doesn't work for you. This combination of the ready-to-go surveys and easy-to-use tools can really help library staff save time and energy in planning their data collection, which leaves more time for decision-making and advocacy once the results are in. Today's session provides a brief overview of these features, and there are many more resources and tutorials available in the toolkit where you can learn more. And I just want to take a moment to reiterate that all these surveys, tools, and resources available in Project Outcome are free for academic libraries and LIS students everywhere, and they are designed to be used by all types of library workers and librarians. You do not need to have assessment in your title to take advantage of the Project Outcome Toolkit. The Project Outcome Toolkit contains 7 key survey areas that cover a broad range of programs and services that academic libraries provide. Outcome measurement surveys were developed for each of these 7 areas. The topic areas also cut across user types. They aren't only surveys for students. So the survey types we have are instruction, which is our most popular, events programs, teaching support, research, library technology, digital and special collections, and space. And each survey comes in 2 types, immediate and follow-up surveys. Before you decide which surveys you'll use, be sure to look at the actual survey questions and see which ones will get you the type of data you need. You can preview all the surveys and all the survey questions in the resources. Project outcome surveys are designed to capture 4 key outcomes: knowledge, confidence, application or behavior change, and awareness. Each survey also contains 2 open-ended questions that help you get the most of your patrons' feedback. What did they like most about the program, and what can the library do to improve? These open-ended questions are invaluable to libraries. This is where you can gain the most insight into how to help your patrons and gather qualitative evidence to demonstrate value in your community. One thing we see repeatedly is library patrons asking for more hotspots for checkout, more study spaces, more everything. Getting repeated comments like that can help you make the case for additional time or resources that you might need. And the quantitative results can help support your case by showing that what you're already doing is making a difference. So to give you an example of what the surveys look like, this is the immediate instruction survey, by far the most popular survey in the toolkit. And in those first 4 questions, those are the Likert scale questions. The text in bold indicates the alignment with the outcome measurements. And then you see the 2 open-ended questions at the end. This is the standardized survey as available in the toolkit. You can also add up to 3 custom questions to your survey and set the context of the survey when you administer it so students know what they're being asked about. So some planning considerations before we get into the survey toolkit. To choose the right survey, be sure to keep your library's needs and goals in mind. Look at library programs and services that you relate to those goals and consider which you should survey. Maybe it's a program you've been running for a while and never gotten feedback on, or maybe you're trying something new and want to get a sense of how it's working. Review the survey questions to see which survey topic and type will get you the most useful data. And if there's additional information you need, consider adding custom questions. You will also need to think about how you survey your students. If you're running virtual programs, you'll probably want to use an online survey link. For in-person programs, you can share the survey directly by giving it only to program participants, such as by sharing the link at the end of the program or handing the students a paper assessment. Sharing the survey indirectly, for example, you can post it on your library's social media page and ask anyone who may have participated in the program to complete it. It's also important to consider how you frame the survey request in order to encourage participation. It can be helpful to emphasize the importance of feedback and to emphasize that the survey is short. It's only 6 questions and 4 of them are Likert scale questions. As you make changes based on the feedback your library receives, you can also emphasize that those changes are part of this feedback cycle, which can encourage future feedback. So before I move into showing you how the toolkit works, I'm going to pause for a moment to see if we have any questions. And I would also like to ask if anything you've heard has maybe sparked ideas about how you might measure outcomes at your library. If you're feeling brave, please share those in the chat. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, and I see a couple people sharing what they would like to survey. So as we move into the functionality of the toolkit, maybe keep those ideas in the back of your mind. So again, this is the account homepage you'll see when you log into your free Project Outcome account. Once you create an account, you'll have access to all of the tools and resources via this user homepage. Any or all staff at your library can create their own accounts. You will be able to see all survey activity associated with your library, and surveys are tied to the library, so you won't lose that data if staff leave. Now we're looking at the survey management page. This is where you go to create and access all of your library's surveys, as well as customize program information, including program name and date. You can also track program attendance and survey response rates, enter survey responses, review auto-generated quick reports, and download your raw data. So you click on that orange button in the top left to get started creating a new survey. So it just takes 5 simple steps to create a survey. You must first create a survey to access the paper survey and online links and to be able to enter results back into the system. Each new survey you create will be based on a project outcome template with those 6 standardized questions. You aren't really creating anything from scratch, but you will have options for customization, including adding additional questions. The survey management tool will walk you through the process of creating a survey with this simple online wizard. So step one, which is the screenshot you see here, is choosing your survey topic and type. In step two, you will enter your program information, which includes program name, date, and location. Program name is important because it becomes a data filter later on. So for example, if your institution is doing 5 instruction sessions on the same topic, you may want an individual survey for each session to get detailed feedback, but you can give them all the same program name, so later you'll be able to roll up the results into a larger report. Step three is where you enter your survey details, including survey name. You will also have the option of adding a custom intro and footer message or a custom redirect link for when the survey is complete. So when we talk about setting the context for the surveys, this is one of the places you can do that. And step four is where you can add those 3 additional custom questions. The toolkit does come with a pre-populated list of additional survey questions. Some are multiple choice and some are open-ended, or you can write your own. The downside of adding custom questions, and the reason you may see it argued against, is that they do make the survey longer, which can decrease the response rate. And step 5 is administering your survey. In Project Outcome, the surveys are available in English, Spanish, Arabic, and French. So here are the 2 ways you can administer your survey: on paper by printing the PDF, or online using the survey link or provided QR code. And the online surveys are mobile friendly. There are additional steps librarians can take to address accessibility and ensure that all users understand and complete project outcome surveys. So in this example on the left from a public library, the library has added emoticons and color coding to help their patrons interpret the different responses on the Likert scale. Design adaptations like this can help low literacy patrons or English language learners better understand the survey. And if you would like, at the end of your program, you may want to save some time to read questions aloud to program participants, walking them through each question at a time. Or if you're only offering paper surveys, make sure you have a version available in large print that's at least an 18-point sans serif font. The online surveys were designed with accessibility in mind, so they can be used with screen readers and are functional when zoomed in to 200%. And of course, the online survey language can be changed between English, Spanish, French, and Arabic as well. And just as a reminder, as a best practice, always try to provide a path or point person for patrons to request effective communication, such as captioning or sign language interpretation, when participating in library assessment conversations. Making sure your students know the accessibility options you offer is crucial to promoting the inclusivity that allows all individuals to fully engage with and benefit from your library's programs and services. Another thing you can add when you're creating your survey is a tag of a NESI high impact practice. So the National Survey of Student Engagement is a trusted and widely used instrument for assessing the quality of undergraduate education, which provides institutions diagnostic, actionable information that fosters and catalyzes evidence-based improvement efforts. The NESI survey includes questions on high impact practices, 6 of which we have added as a taggable feature in Project Outcome. And those are service learning, learning community, research with faculty, internship or field experience, study abroad, and culminating senior experience. So using the high impact practices as a framework does not mean that the library immediately has to take on more work. It's likely that the work you do is already aligning with some of your goals. And a good way to start to think about how the programs and services you already organize and evaluate may align with these high impact practices So the next time you run a survey through Project Outcome, consider tagging it with an appropriate high impact practice. And you can learn more in the resources. Brian has just put the link in the chat. So once a survey is created, you can make changes via the survey detail page, which is the screenshot we're looking at. The changes you can make will be limited if you have already begun to collect responses. This page is also where you can find the links to the PDF or online versions of the surveys, or you can click on the embed button to get code that will allow you to embed your survey into a web page or LibGuide, or the QR code button to download a QR code if you want your students to be able to scan it with their phones. You can enter program attendance in the top right to be able to calculate your survey's response rate. So with all that, now it's time to collect your data. In Project Outcome, there are several ways of collecting and entering survey responses. Um, if you want to use the online link, either via the link, the QR code, or the embed feature, students will fill out their survey online, and that data is automatically entered back into Project Outcome. You don't have to do anything. If you do choose to use paper surveys, which often have a higher response rate, we offer 3 options for entering that data back into Project Outcome. The first is entering responses one at a time yourself, which you can do using the orange Enter Responses Online button at the bottom right. We also offer 2 bulk entry options. The first is an online link. It sends you to a page that looks like a spreadsheet where you can enter multiple rows of responses. This is convenient because the URL can be shared with people who are not Project Outcome users, such as student workers or interns, and they will be able to enter the data without having access to the rest of the library's Project Outcome account. We also offer a Excel download template where you can download the template, enter your data, and re-upload it back into the system. Each template is unique to the survey you create. So I totally get that administering surveys and entering data can be kind of a pain, but what makes it worth it is what you can do with the results. On the data dashboards, which we're going to talk about, they show graphic visualizations of your aggregate survey data. All of the dashboards can be saved as screenshot images, printed as PDFs, or saved to the infographics library within Project Outcome, which allows you to add them to customized reports. And these data dashboards make it easy to review, interpret, analyze, and share your results. There are several dashboards available in the system, so I'm going to go ahead and go over a few of them. In the top left corner here, we're looking at the overview dashboard. This shows an aggregate average score across all survey types and across all outcomes. So you can see the 3 columns there: topic, outcome, and high impact practice. And these 3 columns will all show comparisons of your library's average score in that category versus national and Carnegie class averages. So you can really get a quick idea of how you're comparing to your peers. The detail dashboard listed below that is where you can view data for each individual survey question organized by survey. These results can also be filtered and the benchmarks are displayed. The matrix dashboard, which is on the right, allows you to explore the data further, looking for relationships and correlations, and can also be used to drive decision making and identify gaps in service or impact. The matrix diagram at the top, the square, makes it possible to view aggregate average scores for each survey topic in connection with each outcome. The chord diagram or circle that appears below the matrix table allows you to see your score relationships in a different way. The thicker the chord, the stronger the relationship between that particular survey topic and outcome. And the final dashboard we're going to talk about is the qualitative dashboard for your open-ended responses. This is where you can visualize the most commonly used words from the open-ended responses. You will see one word cloud per survey topic, and you can select a program to narrow down the results. So when I said earlier that you might want to add a program name in, this is one of the ways that you can utilize that program name in the data dashboards. And then you can just click on a word to see its frequency and other words that commonly appear with it. The word clouds can give you an overall sense of trends in the open-ended comments, but they're not a substitute for actually reading the comments or doing further analysis. You can export your open-ended responses to explore further. And as a reminder, you can save these visualizations to your infographic library in Project Outcome, so you can download them or add them to your reports. And speaking of reports, the dashboards we just went over are really designed for exploration of the data. And these reports are designed to be easily shared, those survey results, with library staff, management, or other stakeholders. The first report is a summary report. The summary report captures results from a single survey and is designed for quick sharing with those stakeholders. The easiest way to get access to the report is through the Get Report link on the survey management page. It's literally a one-click button and a beautiful PDF report will appear. If you want to build your own report for multiple surveys or customize it by applying filters and adding a custom statement from your library, you'll want to access the report builder in the data dashboards. You can access the report builder from the homepage or in the survey management tool. You can also access the report builder from the data dashboards, and you'll see it's another wizard. It takes you through these 7 steps, and you will get your beautiful report at the end. And here is an example of what the reports look like. By default, each report will show you a quantitative summary of the data you selected. And if you selected multiple surveys, it will list those. You can choose to add all or some of the open-ended responses. And you can, of course, customize your reports by adding additional pages with visualizations captured from the data dashboard, as well as custom text. So I've been talking about the saved infographics a lot. This is the way you can add them to a report. You can export any of these visualizations as an image, get an HTML code that you can embed in another website, or get a link to the visualization you can share. So to access your raw data, we go back to the survey management tool. So if you're looking for data from an individual survey, you can download those responses in the survey detail page. You can also use the survey response viewer to export all responses or select specific responses you wish to download. The data comes out as a CSV file, and the spreadsheet includes the following fields: library name, location, program name, program date, survey topic, survey type, survey name, response date, response type, that's paper or URL, and all the quantitative and qualitative responses. The raw data is available as soon as any survey responses have been entered, so you'll want to be cautious about downloading it while you're still collecting survey responses. So before I move on to implementation, I'm going to pause for a moment to see if anybody has questions about how the toolkit works. And please, again, put those questions in the chat. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, but if you do have them, please put them in the chat and I will address them at the end of the presentation. Oh, here we go. Um, Lizette asks, are we able to save personal comments on the report? I'm not quite sure what you mean, but you can add custom text to your report. But anything you add will be seen by everybody who you send the PDF report to. Holly asks, how can the survey results demonstrate student success? We're actually going to go over that with a case study here in the next section. Okay. So now that you've seen how the tool works, I want to share an example of what you can do with the data you'll collect. So the case study we're going to talk about is from Nevada State College. Nevada State is a four-year public institution that was founded in 2002. The campus is located on 500 acres in Henderson, Nevada. The students come from a variety of diverse and underrepresented backgrounds, with nearly 50% first-generation college students, nearly 40% low income, and 40% over the age of 25. The college library is unique in that it has the first entirely digital collection in the state of Nevada. Use of the library space increased significantly after the move to a digital collection, but until using the Project Outcome Space Survey, they had no way to measure its impact on students. So to measure the outcomes of the Nevada State College's physical library space, the staff administered the survey to students who had booked study rooms via the LibCal. The overall results were positive, but the lowest score came in on awareness. Additionally, from the survey's open-ended comments, the library learned that many students were using the rooms for quiet individual study rather than for the group working space that the library had originally designed and intended the rooms to be used for. So what you're seeing on the screen here is the results summary from page 1 of that survey's report. You can see in the bottom here a very positive result for each outcome measured. But in the last row for awareness, you do see that there's a little bit more green and light purple. The survey did only end up with a 14% response rate, 22 responses. Nevertheless, the survey still produced actionable feedback. It's important to note that Nevada State College had conducted a correlational study prior to their implementation of Project Outcome. Of that study, the library said, that data was useful in advocating to college administration about the value of library space, but it was not actionable data for the library beyond, we need more space. The correlational study didn't allow them to discover any ways they could improve the space better to meet students' needs. From the combination of the project outcome data and data from the correlational study, which again had positive responses but didn't deliver results that were actionable, the library was able to incorporate specific feedback they got from project outcome in order to have an ask for administrators that goes beyond just more. So what action did Nevada State College take from their survey responses? The first action was very easy. They improved their signage. They introduced digital signage in a rotating slideshow to advertise library services and placed table tents in the study rooms to promote library events and resources. They also changed their reservation policies. So the policies were updated to allow a single student to reserve the smaller study rooms for individual quiet study based on the feedback they received in their project outcomes survey. They also soundproofed study rooms and explored how to reduce noise overall, again, based on the feedback the students provided that they wanted a quiet study space. And finally, they did advocacy. The results were shared with Nevada State Student Government Organization and used to advocate with campus administration that more quiet study spaces were needed on campus. In the summer of 2019, after this survey was run, a library-led renovation project was approved to convert a nearby classroom into a quiet study computer lab. This is a nice case study because it shows how one survey with a relatively small number of responses led to demonstrated improvements within the library, and they were able to give the students exactly what they said they needed to be successful. Okay, we're almost done, so let's finish strong with a few key takeaways and next steps. So, why use project outcome? We know that short and simple surveys mean you will get higher response rates. People don't like completing very long surveys. There are times when long surveys are necessary, but for day-to-day evaluation, having a quick and easy way of gathering feedback is helpful. These surveys were created by and for the library field. They've been tested and validated so you can have confidence in your results. The standardized surveys and outcome measures mean you can track progress at your library, but also have benchmarks to compare how you're doing to your peers. The ready-made reports and visualizations in the data dashboards do a lot of the hard work for you. They give you results that you can easily share with internal and external stakeholders. The reports and dashboards also provide an immediate snapshot of how a program went. This allows you to take that feedback and get started on improvements right away. And the open-ended comments are a goldmine. They can provide specifics of where patrons would appreciate support and stories of what they value that can support your advocacy reporting. Overall, the project outcome tools are designed to be easy to use to reduce the burden of evaluation. You can focus more on making an impact at your library and less on agonizing over survey questions or spreadsheets of results. And finally, you can work at your own pace and comfort level. If you're new to outcome measurement, start small, see how it goes, and learn from there. As you become more comfortable, there's many ways you can dig deeper and customize your surveys. So again, if you're new to assessment or to project outcome, one great place to start is this roadmap, which walks you through the steps to take. And this is available in the resources if you'd like to take a closer look. Now, while this roadmap presents a linear picture of the process, get started, plan, create, administer surveys, enter and review data, and then take action, I'd like to emphasize that it's actually an iterative process. With regular evaluation over time, you should and will repeat this process. But you might find that adding onboarding staff or planning for bias reduction become a part of the surveying process at your library in order to see the desired improvements in programs and services. It's also important to keep the end goal in mind. The purpose of this work is to take action and make change. These might be actions you anticipate in advance, or they might be driven by the feedback you receive, as illustrated by the case study we just discussed. I know I've been hitting you with a lot of information, but the toolkit really is designed to be easy to use. I encourage you to just make a free account, get in there, and poke around. As I've been mentioning throughout my entire presentation, Project Outcome has numerous resources available to all users and covering all aspects of the outcome measurement process. Since we didn't have time to go through all the features of the toolkit in detail today, make sure you check out the tutorials under the Getting Started tab as a reference. Another important one to call out is all the preview surveys, which is the first link under the surveys tab. That's where you can see all the survey questions and topics to help you choose the best survey for your needs. There's also case studies and many other resources that cover all aspects of the outcome measurement process. As you're engaging with the toolkit, remember that you can ask others how it works for their libraries on the peer discussion board. These boards are on ALA Connect and accessible to anyone with an ALA Connect account. Just a note, you do not have to be an ALA member to create an account. If you haven't heard, we published a book last year in celebration of the 5th anniversary of Project Outcome. Project Outcome, what is it called? Assessment and Advocacy Using Project Outcome for Academic Libraries, shares case studies demonstrating how a variety of libraries have used Project Outcome to make improvements in their practice and highlight the value that the toolkit has brought to institutions and the academic library profession. And I did edit this book. I'm very proud of it. So if you're interested in learning more, you can click on the link in the chat to go to the ALA store. So now that you've had a chance to get an introduction to the Project Outcome Toolkit, we'd ask that you think about how you are going to get started with outcome measurement at your library and share in the chat. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be sign up for a Project Outcome account, share this webinar with a colleague. Small steps add up to big results. Thank you again for coming. We have plenty of time for questions. So please put those in the chat. Or if you have additional questions after today, please email us, acrl@projectoutcome.org. Brian and I are the staff who monitor that, so we'll be happy to help you out. All right, Katie asks, when I log into my account, I can see listings for other librarians at Penn State. Is that so we can collaborate on project outcome surveys, or does it share information? All the surveys and data you create and enter into project outcome will be fully available for your colleagues at your same institution to view. Please let me know if you have any more questions. Claudia asks, how long does it take to receive a confirmation email? Usually it's less than 10 minutes. If you don't see it, check your spam folder or email us at acrl@projectoutcome.org and we can help confirm your account. People are going to share the instructions survey, get their accounts, share this information with colleagues. These are all great first steps. So I want to say thank you so much for coming to this webinar. And if you have any, please take a minute to complete a project outcome-based survey evaluation as you leave. And I see I've got a couple more questions. Lauren asks, the institution I work at is predominantly research focused, not academic. So I'm not sure if this would align what they're looking for. I'm curious about the types of survey topics. Could you provide some examples of the questions being asked? Yeah, so the survey topics are meant to cover a wide variety of library programs and services. We do have a research-focused survey, as well as a library technology survey and events programs that might be helpful to you. I would recommend you check out the preview surveys in the resources. That will just give you the questions that are on every type and topic of survey. Okay, Katie asks, I don't necessarily need to launch surveys on your platform. Can I simply enter our annual library metrics over the years and use the tools to create visualizations and dashboard? No, unfortunately, Katie. The project outcome dashboards are designed exclusively around those 6 survey questions from the toolkit. So we can't have any outside data that does not conform to the exact specifications of the project outcome surveys. However, if your institution is already doing a large survey to library patrons, you can add the project outcome survey questions exactly as written to your other survey instrument and then just import that data back into project outcome. I know a few schools have done that. Okay. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about the Project Outcome Toolkit. As you continue your outcome measurement explorations, we're always happy to answer questions or continue the discussion, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions as you continue. Otherwise, thank you for coming today and have a great rest of your afternoon.